Hey everybody, glad you're here. This is the Chase Squirrelson Show, and I'm your host, Chase Squirrelson. And if you're listening right now, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Today's episode is one of those conversations that starts simple and then goes somewhere interesting. So let's jump in. Well, welcome back, my loyal listeners. This is going to be another Chase Squirrelson by your seat of your pants broadcast. Today, our crazy idea was to, especially it's the middle of baseball season, why not do a episode about what it would be like to listen to two ADHD baseball broadcasters, one guy a play-by-play and the other one a color commentator. My good friend Vince Buster is the play-by-play guy today, and I'm going to be the color commentator, and we're just going to wing it. There's no script here or anything, and as it should be appropriate for ADHDers. So this is what we think it's going to be like. So I'd like to introduce to you our color commentator for today's Yankee Cub game at Wrigley Field, Vince Buster. Vince?
Hey, Chase. Wonderful to be here. It's a beautiful day for baseball. We have crisp blue skies and light hurricane force winds blowing in from the scoreboard in center field.
So not a lot of home runs today, maybe. Hard to hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on seeing too many homers since then, be going out instead of in. But it's only so far a Category 4, so shouldn't interfere too much with the game. But this is a treat today, an interleague game with lots of drama as the Cubbies take on the Yankees, the two biggest cities in America, both taking a break from the violence and crime in their states. Both are in first place, surprisingly. Well, I guess not surprising for the Yankees, but certainly surprising for the Cubbies. But anyway, sorry to talk about the violence in those states. Let's keep it focused on baseball. I love the National Anthem today, kind of a new twist on a few of those notes. Think you have to give them credit for trying something new and different, but really, to bring a 400-pound opera singer out here just doesn't feel too traditional.
No, but I like the idea of that he tried to yodel it, which I've never heard before.
Well, those are the notes I was referring to. Different for sure, but not too paying much homage to the country. Just doesn't feel that traditional. And took 3 times for him as long to sing it, too.
I think
hey, buddy, while you're down there, let's hear a little Madam Butterfly before you leave the field.
I think I'm excited today because this is interesting. I don't know more than 2 players on the Yankees, and you're totally unfamiliar with the Cubs, yet they've assigned us to this broadcast.
That's true, but yeah, the Cubbies do seem to be a lot of no-names, but in the Yankees, almost every player is a star and that you heard of for years. It's amazing, but Judge and Bellinger, Cole, on and on. I mean, and just one unbelievable player after another, and that's why they're doing so well this year and destined for yet another World Series.
And, of course, their payroll is greater than 80% of all the countries in the world as far as gross national product.
Well, whatever it takes to win, as our hero George Steinbrenner would have said. Hey, look at those hot dog vendors. Slather on that mustard. It's the all-American meal. Okay, well, anyway, let's settle in now for the first batter. Bellinger steps in, and we've got a tough pitcher on the mound. I can't even pronounce his name. I've never heard of him, but someone strong pitching for the Cubbies. And ball outside.
Wait a minute, just a minute. You talked about the hot dog vendor. I was thinking about, is a hot dog a sandwich? Because it's got bread and meat, and I just can't get that out of my mind right now.
Well, it qualifies, I would say. But, and hot dogs, what are they made of? Chopped up meat ingredients, pork, and horrible stuff when you think about it, but they sure taste good.
I just noticed, by the way, there's a guy standing on third right now. The leadoff batter's on third. I don't know what happened. I was kind of looking at my notes.
Well, and I was listening to what you were saying. I don't know how he got all the way around there. Last I knew, it was 1-0, and suddenly we've got a man in scoring position. This is incredible.
Yeah, that reminds me of when I used to play, my playing days back for the Minneapolis Bulldogs. I remember starting the game at third base. I thought I could kind of fool the umpires and everybody, and I just stood on third, and then, of course, they made me go back and bat.
Hey, isn't this your coffee here, Chase? Is this your cup or mine? Who's been drinking out of this?
There's lipstick on it.
Oh, Well, I don't know then who was up here in this booth. That's maybe that's unsanitary.
Well, I don't know. I was looking for you last night and I couldn't find you, so I don't know if but we do digress here.
So anyway, Chase, you gotta love this game. The fans clapping and the birds chirping, and the squirrels, ironically, invading their nest. Then, hoo boy, lots of screeching and wild flapping of wings. It's a nasty business trying to gain any edge they can, these squirrels. But not to impugn your heritage, but it just seems to be out in that ivy. There's a lot of wildlife going on.
I don't mean to be doing your job, but that was a violent collision as home plate when the guy on third tried to steal home. But I don't know if you noticed that. You were busy.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Okay. Let me backtrack a second. And here comes the runner down the third baseline. Pow! There's a violent collision, and he scores. He scores. The ump called him out, but he's clearly scored.
So you're doing the play-by-play from replays, instant replays, instead of the actual live play?
Well, if I forget something or miss something because I'm engaged in conversation with you, I want to go back and give the fans the proper experience.
Okay, so in other words, he scored, or he has not. You thought he scored, but what does the scoreboard say?
Well, the scoreboard is inconclusive because they're reviewing it. The umpire called him out, but I called him safe, and I hope that my opinion counts for more up here in the booth. But, out there in the bleachers, there's all those empty seats. I always wonder how they choose the color codes, what it means when you're way out there. Does it signify something other than low prices if it's red, or is blue bleachers? I mean, I'm always confused and curious about that.
I think actually Sherwin-Williams, the paint company, has something to do with that. Is like if they have an excess of a certain color or something like that, that's where they just tell the teams, we'll give you a deal on that. So it has nothing to do with it. There's no scheme or rhyme or reason to it.
Oh, okay. That's why some of those on the right field are kind of rainbow, all in different colors.
There is a guy being carried off on a stretcher from home plate. I didn't know if you saw that.
Wow, Chase, that's unbelievable. I mean, this is an active game. No one out yet, one batter, and we've got all this excitement and drama. Yes, there was a brutal collision, and it looks like the catcher and the runner collided with the umpire, and it's actually the umpire being carried out. That's quite a twist. No one expected that. I'll try to pay more attention going forward.
Also, I noticed that it's really interesting, the Yankee pinstripes. I think there's probably a great story behind that. Also, the fact that they don't put the names on the uniform. They are replacing the umpire now with someone from the crowd, I think. They didn't have a backup umpire.
Well, it's a new theory I've heard making the rounds, and a lot of people think fans should be allowed to call the shots and the plays. That would be much more engaging and give the fan a voice, like rest of America is asking for transparency. And so why not let the fans step up and make these calls? I think it's an exciting twist, frankly.
By the way, there is a batter in the batter's box. They seem like they're ready to resume play here.
Oh, right. Okay, so this guy coming to the plate is living proof what modern medicine can do. I understand the Cubbies sent him in for an experience cerebral cortex lobotomy that took away his fear of inside pitches. He's been batting over 400 ever since.
Yeah, you know what I love about this guy is he was actually born and raised in a treehouse in South Carolina, and that's a great story and how he was discovered. Wait a minute. I think there's a ball in the gap.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a line drive into the gap. This ball is going all the way into the wall. 1 run in, 2 runs in. Oh, wait, sorry, there was no one on base. I get carried away. But anyway, he ends up on second base with a double. Very exciting. Things are really hot here at Wrigley Stadium.
It is, and actually Wrigley Field, it's interesting. The ball, that ball, you may not have noticed it, but it got caught in the ivy, and that's a ground rule double as long as the outfielder doesn't try to find it. So the ball is actually wedged under the ivy, and that's why the runner's on second. The other people running around the bases that you saw actually were fans that just jumped out onto the field to be noticed.
Yeah, they do get very engaged in this sport here in Chicago. They feel they can get away with anything. But I did notice. I knew there was someone running. I just assumed it was players. Sorry, I didn't pay better attention. So next batter, there's a sharply hit ground ball down the third baseline, but it's stabbed by Caballero. Speaking of which, did you watch that news report this week of the brutal stabbing in Central Park that put 3 migrants in the hospital? Yes, they were harassing the wrong guy.
Yeah, I think, but it was self-defense, from what I understand. And what happened, actually, the backstory was what people were watching was this stabbing, and actually, it was a Shakespearian play. People wearing togas and everything, and there was, but actually, it wasn't real. And some good Samaritans jumped in there to try to protect people, and they stabbed some of the actors who were, portraying something very violent.
Right. Well, and the guy that came out in the crowd, he looked like a homeless bum, but they picked on the wrong guy. He turned out to be a UFC fighter. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel they got their deserve, but this was a nice little sidelight here. So the Cubbies coach, you've got to either admire him or ridicule him. He's been ejected over 1,000 times. Some season he'd be tossed every other game. Yeah, he's a feisty one. I don't know where he came up from, but seems to go with the non-entity nature of this team, all anonymous. But,
one of the things, and I've been thinking a lot about this. Hockey, one of the main draws of hockey, and even all after all these years, and some people are against it, fighting in hockey has always been something the fans want, and I think that's what's missing in baseball. I think, you see, to me, the favorite part of a game for me is the bench clearing brawl. I love that, and yet there's hardly any physical contact. There's almost no violence at all, and I think maybe allowing the players to really go at it would be, I think, boost attendance.
Yeah, well, I think that's very true. It is kind of boring compared to other sports. Hockey, they seem to spend their whole life wrestling around on the ice. But yeah, I think you've got a good point there, and it's it kind of reminds me what Yogi Berra once said and cautioned people, but always be sure to go to other people's funerals, otherwise they won't come to yours.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of relevant to what we're discussing.
By the way, that last pitch, the foul ball came up into the booth and actually hit the guy who takes care of some of our stats. So he's been injured. I didn't know if you saw that.
Yeah, a lot of stretcher action here today in the early going. I know them taking him out too. They brought up a body bag at first, but then they switched to a stretcher. So that's good to see.
Well, also, there's 2 runs on the scoreboard, and I don't think we've really told the fans why they have runs.
Well, I wish I could help you with that, but let me check this replay monitor here. But, I was so engaged in what you were saying. I find you so fascinating, Chase, that I really couldn't concentrate on that. But
well, I'd suggest you hyper-focus on the game itself.
Okay, so I'm into it now, and there is a batter back at the plate, and the pitcher is going into his stretch, and here's the delivery, and there's a high fly ball to deep left field. This ball is back on the track. Whoa! See ya! Another home run. But wait, why am I so excited? These are the Cubs. I'm supposed to be the Yankee announcer. Anyway, it was a hell of a hit and exciting. So this game is being broken open right here in the first inning. Can't even get out of the first inning. But, in the end, the Yankees will always win. But right now, it looks pretty spooky.
Yeah, you spoke about that delivery, and it reminds me of when my first child was born. That delivery will always be, indelible in my mind. And it was a forceps delivery, which was kind of scary. But I guess I do digress from the actual game.
Yeah, so let's get back to the game. But, as we're waiting for him to round the bases, one thing I don't really think is fair, you never see seniors playing baseball in the major leagues. Isn't that age discrimination?
Oh, absolutely.
Why can't everyone have a shot?
And by the way, that delivery you talked about, the hitter, I think it was Judge. No, it was Swanson who hit that home run, and he did one of those exaggerated bat flips. And so while we've been talking, there's been a real brawl going around near the pitcher's mound.
Because the Yankees were offended at that flip, or
the bat flip. Yeah, it was insulting. Yeah.
Yeah, they get so few chances to celebrate when they play the Yanks. I guess you can't really blame them for
No.
taking a shot at glory. But
The other thing is, I focus on things that maybe the other fans may neglect. But what if somebody really has to go to the bathroom in an emergency, and let's say he's the center fielder? What do you do?
God, that's a good point.
I mean, sometimes when you got to go, you got to go.
Right. And you never see them running into the dugout to use the facilities. I bet you anything that they all wear catheter bags out there.
They could.
I mean, that's the only way around that.
Well, some players are like, they'll say, look at that hustle running in from center field at the end of the inning, like he's sprinting in. I mean, that shows real hustle, but actually he's got to go to the bathroom. And I think it's our job to really say we need to know those things.
Right.
Why give the guy a label of a real hustler when all he's trying to do is take a leak?
Well, you've got a great mind and observation, Chase, and that's what's made you Central Legend. You think of every possibility.
Well, with ADHD, we have the ability to connect the dots and see things that other people don't see. And we focus on things that other people wouldn't remotely think about.
Yeah, and speaking of remote and delivery, how come Costco doesn't deliver? I mean, they got cheap prices, but they're having a sale tonight. Ends at 9:00. I hope this game's over in time. I wanted to get out there and take advantage of that.
They do deliver, but you have a problem because you give the wrong address. So actually, I get deliveries all the time from Costco. You just can't remember where you live.
Well, that's true, and I do come over to your house so often when I'm in town, and I forget, and I trip up, and I give them your address, so that's why you're getting all these, deliveries. I hope you're also paying for them. I hope I'm not being billed when they're going to you.
The other thing that concerns me is with all the great broadcasters available in these networks, why did they pick us?
Well, because we're the most fascinating duo you can imagine. We both have a grasp of so many facts, and we can really focus in when it counts. And yes, admittedly, we get distracted occasionally, but I think we bring up interesting points of view that the average American would like to know.
I think so too.
Baseball or not.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think baseball's boring, so we don't focus that much on the game itself.
Right. Yeah, it is definitely boring. I mean, wait a minute. That's who's paying our bills. It's fascinating. It's exciting, but we're there to do our thing and be colorful. And you're the most colorful of all, Chase. Your commentary is brilliant, perceptive, and insightful. Except when you drift off, I keep trying to bring you back because I know you get distracted so easily. Unlike me, I'm the focused one of the bunch. So I think it's time you get your focus and let's get back into this game where the bases now seem to be loaded with the Yankees. I don't know how that happened. We missed the break at the half inning. I was hoping they'd be singing God Bless America, but we're not in the seventh inning.
Well, that's Kate Smith at the Philadelphia Flyers hockey games, and she's dead. So, I don't know what you're talking about. One thing, and I think the fans would like to know about this, Swanson's wife had a baby last week, and, wait a minute, the crowd's roaring. That's a home run.
Well, is that any surprise? It is Aaron Judge who was at the plate, and he's going to hit for hundreds of homers this year. He's just an unbelievable machine. It's not even worth calling the shot because it's so common. All we needed to say was Aaron Judge is at the plate. They may as well just add 4 more runs to the scoreboard.
Yeah, but let's talk about the baby. Swanson's wife did have a baby, and of course, I don't think the way other people do. What came to my mind immediately was, what is the batting average of a player, let's say with a week after or even a month after the birth of his first baby? And I think that, to me, that's a fascinating statistic. Does he play better? Does he play worse?
That's a stat that I can't believe they don't bring up every week or have in the box score. That's critical. It may be a little hard to track that, but wouldn't it be fascinating to know exactly what impact they have on
it's
a player?
a PD. I call it a PD P, post-delivery performance, a PDP factor, and pitchers and all that can take advantage of that. For example, with Swanson has been swinging at low pitches since the delivery, and now the teams are starting to analyze that kind of stuff, and for some reason that used to be a sweet spot for him. Now it's a flaw.
Wow.
And this is what I live for. I mean, RBIs, runs, batting average, ho-hum, nothing burgers. I want to dig into the real deep stuff.
Yeah, the purpose of life itself, how the atom was created. I mean, there's so much out there that we can impart to our fans.
How about the effect of too much earwax? Can a player hear, can he hear a teammate say, "I've got it" or something like that? And I've never heard of earwax examinations.
That's why you see so many of those infield and outfield collisions, when they're all just looking up and one guy's saying, I got it, and the other guy just can't hear him. So bang, boom, and they're both down and out. That's an earwax factor, and that should be pointed out. We'll do that on this show. Not every announcer will get into that, but we have an unusual facility to understand that stuff. And I don't know. I mean, some of these players just seem to be full of themselves, pompous asses, I would say. Not Yankees, of course, but on the Cubs team. And they just seem to be arrogant. And I don't think that's a seeming quality. Look at Aaron Judge. He's a humble giant, a man of dignity and compassion, and carries himself well in the Yankee tradition. So not that I'm being biased because I'm the Yankees announcer, but I just do want to point these things out from time to time.
Yeah, and I do. I think your passion for the Yankees is probably a little overblown. I remember you refused to even acknowledge the newspaper reports. Like when the Yankees aren't in first place, you still insist they are.
Well, I think most in the world knows that Yankees, Giants, Jets, Mets, on, that they win everything, and every year. And it's, they just want to keep the sport alive. So they occasionally let another team win, or they'll keep their superiority to themselves. But in the end, they know they always pull it out. And any reports that claim otherwise are clearly fake news and fictitious.
Also, I noticed in the crowd there are a number of people wearing lobster bibs, and I'm not quite sure why they are. Is there do they have like a lobster man instead of a beer man, a lobster man in this crowd? There is. Wow, that ball is just kicked up chalk down the left field line. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, and there's a line drive down the left field line, kicking up some chalk, and it's into the corner. 1 run in, 2 runs. Again, no one on base. I get so excited being able to say that. Anyway, again, another man ends up at second base. But that was a vicious line drive just out of reach of the diving Caballero. Amazing. Now, where were we? I got distracted. What were we just talking about?
Lobster bibs. Lobster bibs.
But yeah, this you may not be aware, and you should be since you're in the Cubs announcer in Chicago. But Yankees have bobblehead day, and here in Chicago they have lobster day, where every fan gets to crack a lobster and broil it alive right out there in the infield.
The first 10,000 fans get a lobster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what all those huge boiling pots of water are out there around the bases. And the fans get to indulge before the game, and those pots are so hot we can't remove them till after the game.
So that's quite an obstacle for a base runner.
Right. It makes it more fascinating. And then I loved a couple innings ago that Cubby slipped and tripped and fell into the thing and became a red lobster himself. But they replaced him pretty quick, and hopefully he'll be out of the burn center in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, I don't hate to bother you with this, but I don't think the fans have any idea what the score is or what inning they're in.
Oh my God! Okay, let me catch back up here. Get my professional focus here. Okay, so we're in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the score is 11-9. However, there are 3 men on and 1 man at the plate. this is what it all comes down to. This is the moment of tension. This is the moment of power versus sheer strength and skill.
It also would be would be helpful if you actually knew who the players were on the Cubs.
Well, I don't need to. We have you for that.
It'd be kind of nice for you to tell the fans that what the count is on this hitter. There's 2 outs, and I think the Cubs are down to their last strike.
Right, that is true, and it's 11-9, 2 out, 2 strikes, and we have our colored hair guy Armstrong at the plate. Let's see if he can do anything to pull this out. I seriously doubt it, but hey, look, there's a cat loose on the field again. I can't believe this. Can't they keep these animals in check? They're trying to run him down. Oh, my, here's all the security. I hope this doesn't distract the pitcher too much. He's about to close this out.
And actually, as part of the Wrigley home field advantages, they encourage feral cats to be running around the facility. So that's part of the home team advantage. The Cubs ignore them, but for the visiting team, it's quite a distraction.
Well, that's true. And how clever. If he hits a ball into the outfield, they're going to be so distracted by that cat, it's bound to fall in. This game could easily be decided in favor of the Cubbies. But, now we're talking. Now security has set up little miniature bazookas. So they're going to get those mothers as they run across the field. Wow, there goes one. All right, they're getting them. There's 3 of them, only 2 left now. And 3 base runners still, but only 2 cats in the field. Wow, oh my God, brutal, brilliant. We're down to 1 cat. And now the outfielder has grabbed him in his glove and holding him up to the crowd. Listen to that applause.
I love that thumbs up, thumbs down thing.
Oh, my God. It's like gladiators.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Now, see, one of the problems, and the Yankees are doing this, the Cubs use the cats. Like, if you can hit a ball at the cat and it deflects off the cat, it's in play. You got a lot to learn about this game, don't you?
Well, only when I come to Chicago. And most of the stadiums we're in, I know everything, and everything's played by normal rules. But Chicago's been known to cheat at a lot of things.
By the way, I think the average fan might like to know how you got the name of Fence Buster. From what I understand, it sounds cool, like a fence buster, like a home run or something. Wasn't your cousin a thief, and that's where the fence thing you had several people in your family.
He was busted. Yes. I thought it would be cool to keep the tradition family name alive because they'd think I was some superhero baseball player. But yeah, you got me there.
By the way, looks like there's going to be a play at the plate. The tying run is trying to score.
Yeah, well, and oh my God, the outfielder, as I suspected, was so distracted, he threw the cat instead of the ball. Look at that thing fly through the air. But the second baseman cut it off. Oh, now he's scratched and clawed his face. Oh my God, horrific. And no one knows where the ball is, but the cat has become the object. Oh, so the guy is now scored. They couldn't get the cat into home plate fast enough. We have a tie ball game. Oh, my God. This is the most exciting game we've called in years. Unbelievable. A tie ball game with one of yours coming to the plate.
Actually, you didn't realize it, but a third of the other runner scored as well, so the game is over. The Cubs have won the game. I think you missed that part.
I can't utter those words to the Yankee faithful, but fans, we're going to take a quick break here. There's been some action on the field, and I'm sure we'll get back to you with the score whenever it's final. But for now, I have to go to the bathroom myself. So this is Fence Buster signing off for the moment.
If this episode hit home, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to someone who'd get it. You can follow the show so you don't miss the next conversation. And if you feel like it, a quick rating helps the show a great deal. Either way, I appreciate you being here. We'll talk soon.
This podcast is for informational purposes only. The content reflects personal experiences and opinions and is not a substitute for professional medical, psychological, mental health, or legal advice. Flint Rock LLC, the hosts, and guests make no representation or warranties and assume no liability for decisions or actions taken based on this content. Always consult a qualified professional regarding your own situation.